The man charged with killing a Cottage Grove woman and injuring family members is in court today, why police suggest the crash was intentional.
Plus, the White House is ordering cuts to public broadcasting, what this means for local outlets.
And later, hundreds of Wisconsin programs that focus on education and community service are scrambling after getting hit by funding cuts of their own, what those cuts mean for several nonprofits in our area. Live from our studio here in Madison, we welcome you to News 3 Now at 6. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Eric Franke.
And I'm Sarah Carlson.
We begin tonight with an update on the deadly crash that took the life of a Cottage Grove woman last week. The driver of the vehicle is now being charged for intentionally driving into her and her family.
Jeffrey Endress is charged with first-degree intentional homicide, 2 counts of attempted first-degree intentional homicide, and mistreatment of animals causing death. The crash killed Cammie Hansen and her dog and injured her husband and son.
And for more on what led to the crash, we go to Maddie Heimsch, who is live with more details from that criminal complaint today. Maddie?
The criminal complaint details the very moments that the crash occurred. Now, some witnesses told police that they saw the car driving, quote, directly at the family here on the sidewalk. One witness estimating the car was going up to 60 miles per hour. Now, I want to read a statement that the father and husband of the family gave police. He said he recalled hearing an engine revving, the sound of the vehicle jumping over the curb and hitting the fence and the building. Now, when police arrived, they found Endress, the driver, standing at the scene with obvious injuries. They said it seemed like he was just observing the scene, and when they asked him about the crash, he told them he was, quote, having a bad day. Now, just hours before the crash, Endress received records from the Cottage Grove Police Department that detailed crimes of a sensitive nature that the Hansen's child had allegedly abused his own child. Now, there was a juvenile court case going on, and the two families were set to have no contact with one another. And like I said, the police department giving Endress additional details about those crimes just hours before he hit the family. Now, it's those details that have led police to change the charges against Endress. We reported last week that he was facing charges of recklessly endangering safety and reckless homicide. But as you guys just said, those charges now intentional homicide and 2 additional counts of attempted intentional first-degree homicide. For now, reporting live in Cottage Grove, I'm Maddie Heimsch, News 3 Now.
Okay, thank you, Maddie. In other news, one person is dead and another is seriously injured after a 2-car crash on Highway 51 in the town of Dunn. The Dane County Sheriff's Office says it happened last night just before 8:30 p.m. They say an SUV traveling north crossed the center line and hit a pickup truck traveling south head-on. The 69-year-old driver of the SUV died at the scene, and the 47-year-old pickup driver is in the hospital with serious injuries. Traffic had to be rerouted for several hours, and that crash is under investigation.
The Milwaukee County District Attorney will not press charges against the Ohio officers who shot a man to death in Milwaukee last summer. On July 16th, officers with Columbus, Ohio police were on bike patrol for the Republican National Convention blocks away from the convention perimeter. They saw Samuel Sharp Jr., a homeless man in his 40s, walking toward another man with 2 knives. Police told him to drop his weapons, but he refused. 5 officers opened fire, killing Sharp. The Milwaukee DA says officers had a reasonable concern for the safety of the man Sharp was approaching. The office is closing its review of the shooting with no further action.
At the state capitol today, hundreds gathered for the National Day of Awareness for Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls. Organized in part by the Wisconsin's Women's Council, speakers said that it's important to share these families' stories of survival and overcoming the trauma inflicted by the violence. During the rally, the group wrapped red cloth around the Capitol as part of the ceremony.
Important to bring awareness. It's very important to center our families and our survivors in their testimony of sharing their truth, speaking their truth to power. And for me, when we were organizing, what better place than our state's capital?
According to the CDC, murder is the 3rd leading cause of death for American Indian and Alaska Native women and girls.
The annual Armed Forces Day open house at Fort McCoy is being postponed. It was originally scheduled for May 17th. According to the Army Reserve, staffing shortages and ongoing construction along Highway 21 are the causes for this postponement. A new date has not yet been determined. Public television and radio are facing cuts by the Trump administration after the president ordered the Corporation for Public Broadcasting to stop funding NPR and also PBS.
The White House also ordered budget cuts for the entire Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Arman Rahman spoke to local public media outlets here about how this could alter their airwaves.
The president's executive order against public broadcasters like PBS and NPR trickled down to community broadcasters like WORT in Madison.
Losing CPB would be hard for WORT, but it would not make WORT go away.
It's hard to make a vinyl collection like this, the largest in Madison, go away.
There's tens of thousands of record albums here spanning all genres of music, albums you will not see anywhere else.
WORT-FM, or WORT, is marking 50 years of connecting people in Madison and across the world to new ideas.
We're proud of our Spanish and Hmong programming, our programs that reach out to the African American community, the LGBTQ community.
But much of those viewpoints could go unheard if they lose their funding from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, like their BBC headlines and syndicated programs.
Half of it is done here locally, our longest running LGBT show called Query. But then the other half hour is a syndicated program on nationwide LGBT issues. A lot of this programming we would not be able to provide.
12% of WORT's budget comes from the CPB.
The other 2/3 of the grant money that we get go toward our just day-to-day operation.
Business Director Doug Holt says while listeners and donors mostly support WORT, many still rely on their record to keep spinning.
Public media is vital to people in rural communities. Not everyone has internet access. Not everyone has the ability to hear, news, music, talk, even weather alerts without public media.
For the past 50 years, Holt says that small building on the corner of Bedford and Doty has represented the corner of culture and community that public broadcasting provides.
Getting people to hear things that they don't normally hear, whether that be music, whether it be opinion, whether that be news.
Reporting in Madison, Arman Rahman, News 3 Now.
Thank you, Arman. And Congress has 45 days to take action on the executive order, and it is expected to be challenged in the courts.
A mild start to the week, but temperatures are warming up. Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington live on the weather patio right here on Madison's West Side with your certified most accurate forecast.
And it's going to be tough to come in to do Maine weather with as nice as it is outside. We've improved after having that meandering low over the weekend, keeping temperatures a bit cooler than originally forecasted. And now as we fast forward towards Tuesday, 72 in Madison, 76 in the Wisconsin River Valley, maybe even approaching 80 up on the interstate up towards Camp Douglas. So warmer weather is on the way for Tuesday. Those temperatures outside right now, we got 64 in Madison, 69 in the Dells, 69 in Boscobel, 68 in Viroqua, 61 in Monroe, and 59 in Janesville. It's cooler to the south and east where they've had some clouds and those showers that were around for parts of the area this morning. We have 64 to 62 as you go over towards Deerfield, and then 67 going up to 68 as you go down Highway 14 towards Cross Plains. You can really see the division in Dane County where the clouds took a little bit longer to clear out, a little bit cooler where the clouds, and now here at the studios we've got partly sunny skies, warmer on the west side of Dane County. Falling through the 50s when you join us in that 10 o'clock newscast. The skies eventually will clear on out. Could have a little bit of patchy fog to start off the morning. Then we have temperatures near 80 next week, but look at Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. A little blip here in our warm-up. What's causing that? We'll discuss, and it has a name, and I'll let you know what that name is in a few minutes.
All right, Alex, thank you. Hundreds of Wisconsin programs that focus on education, healthcare, and community service are scrambling after nearly $400 million in AmeriCorps grant funding nationwide was terminated by the Department of Government Efficiency.
Our Merrill Hubbard sat down with nonprofit and state leaders to learn more about the impact of these funding cuts.
We've been through funding loss before, and so we can deal with that piece of it. Some of the abruptness of this is what really created some challenges.
Paul Leverance is the president and CEO of Easter Seals Wisconsin, a nonprofit that provides services to thousands of people with disabilities through camps in the Wisconsin Dells and year-round programs.
One of our board members used to joke that we don't have one specific disability we focus on, so you can't name it, right?
Easter Seals is one of more than 25 nonprofits in Wisconsin that use AmeriCorps funding. And as of April 25th, Serve Wisconsin says the federal government wiped all $14 million of AmeriCorps funds from the state.
I was shocked.
Jeannie Duffy, the executive director of Serve Wisconsin, says 800 AmeriCorps members in Wisconsin had to stop their service immediately.
It's been hard, and we're part of state government, so we're working with the state.
Wisconsin has joined a multi-state lawsuit against the federal government's AmeriCorps cuts. But until a decision comes to light, nonprofits are left reaching in the dark. Leverance almost lost 13 service members just weeks before the start of their summer camp.
We can't lead from a position of fear. We have to lead from a position of looking for opportunities, solving the problems, and dealing with the pieces that are in front of us. So we found a way to bring those people back.
He says that canceling camp is not an option.
We have 1,000 people that can't go somewhere else that want to come to our camps for the summer. We don't have an option of not figuring this out.
Reporting in Madison, Meryl Hubbard, News 3 Now.
And if you'd like to help Easter Seals Wisconsin, you can find more information about that nonprofit on their website at eastersealswisconsin.com. And coming up next on News 3 Now at 6 in Madison, a Sun Prairie teacher gets a special recognition for his efforts in the classroom.
After the break, how his love for business is helping give students the skills they need outside of school.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Every year, the Department of Public Instruction chooses to recognize 5 teachers who go above and beyond.
The first teacher who's getting this honor this year is from Sun Prairie East. Our Tanisha Shaw introduces us to Mr. Coyne.
Teaching wasn't Joe Coyne's first passion.
I graduated with a business degree. This is actually my second career, and in a second career, I very much found my place.
He took his love for business to Sun Prairie East, where he would give students skills that would go well beyond the classroom.
It is the things that you hear that you want to be able to give other students, to other people, to the future generations, to say, here's how we can make it, here's how you can be a part of this new journey and make your own path.
And eventually be honored with Teacher of the Year in Wisconsin.
One of this year's Wisconsin Teachers of the Year is Mr. Joel Coyne.
Every year, the Department of Public Instruction awards 5 teachers. Coyne is the first to be honored in 2025.
You get new students, new faces, new dreams of those students, and if I can find a way to help them along that pathway, whatever that dream of theirs is, that inspires me.
One way that Mr. Coyne has inspired his students is by showing that they too have leadership skills.
I think it's really cool to see him push others to be the best, and he's been a really good leader for me. He's kind of pushed me into a leadership role as well. So I think seeing that I can actually do that leadership role and having him push me into there kind of really helps me.
Coyne has been teaching for 15 years. He's proud to motivate students like Carter Wall and excited to be a role model for his future students.
One of the things that we find is when we give students trust and real work and real empowerment, they rise above.
Reporting in Sun Prairie, Tanisha Shaw, News 3 Now.
And congratulations to Mr. Coyne. This award is given now for Teacher of the Year through 2026. And still ahead here in Madison, why the Dane County Humane Society is throwing a special kind of baby shower.
Plus, the federal government taking action against student loan borrowers in default, where those impacted can get some help.
And get ready for a beautiful week of weather. Alex returns with the forecast details when we come back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Welcome back. After a 5-year pause related to the pandemic, collection of defaulted federal student loans resumes today. The government says defaulting now can lead to garnishment of state or federal benefits and garnishment of wages starting by summertime. The Department of Education estimates about 5 million borrowers have defaulted on student loans. If a person is worried about defaulting, experts say they could look into an income-based repayment plan, payment pauses called deferment or forbearance or consolidation or refinancing.
Your debt gets sent to collections, that goes onto your credit report, and that can impact your ability to get an apartment, a mortgage, a car loan, even some employer's check. It's time to, buckle down and figure out how you can make those payments.
The DOE says a person with a defaulted loan can learn their options through the Student Aid Office's Default Resolution Group. They might be able to restore their status through a process called rehabilitation.
Well, the Dane County Humane Society is throwing a baby shower. Now, this kicks off the busiest time of year for their wildlife center, baby season. From now through May 11th, DCHS is raising awareness, money, and much needed supplies for the hundreds of baby animals expected to arrive in the next few weeks. Every year, the Wildlife Rehabilitation Program admits hundreds of vulnerable orphaned baby animals, from songbirds to ducklings, owlets, baby bunnies, fox kits, and more. Those looking to help can donate online or shop the Wildlife Center's wish list at giveshelter.org. They're sweet. A calm and quiet work week ahead. And here's Alex with Southern Wisconsin's complete forecast.
And Sarah, can you believe Southern Wisconsin? It was a week ago right now. We were all holding our breath for that potential for a severe weather outbreak that luckily didn't occur. And now we replace it with, just as you said, a beautiful week ahead. Really the only drama, if you will, this week is going to be a little bit of a cool down Wednesday going into Thursday with some breezy conditions developing. I was talking about it at our 5 o'clock newscast, and it has a name, and we're going to name it during this newscast. Beautiful day tomorrow. We got 72 in Madison, 73 in Janesville, 76 in Baraboo. You go up the interstate, 78 in Camp Douglas. So get ready for a beautiful, partly sunny day as we go into Tuesday. And then that blip on, not the radar, on the thermometer here as we go into Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Temperatures cooling down briefly. It's still close to normal, but nowhere near the warm temperatures that we're going to experience by the time we head towards the weekend and the following week. Here's why. Future track showing northeasterly winds coming in as we go Wednesday morning. Northeasterly or easterly winds are going to bring in that air off of Lake Michigan as we go a little bit further into Wednesday. Notice those winds really coming in stronger out of the east and northeast. Those lines are moving a bit faster. That's going to bring in that air that's near the surface of Lake Michigan that's cool and bring it inland, and the temperatures will peak probably early afternoon and then fall. You might even see a passing shower with that front. Here are those temperatures at 1:30, near 70 in Madison. To the east, low 60s and 50s near the lake. Mid 70s will grace southwest Wisconsin as we go Wednesday afternoon, but that cold air with that front that's going to be coming through is going to be quickly moving in by the late afternoon and evening hours with temperatures 60 to the west, and look at off to the east, temperatures only in the 40s as close as Watertown. So we've got this feature coming through. What's the name? It's called the backdoor cold front. This is a front that comes in from the north and from the east. Our cold fronts typically come in from the west. But when you have these east-northeast winds over cold Lake Michigan, this is a phenomenon that happens in April going on into May that can briefly cool us down after early high temperatures and then falling temperatures in the afternoon and evening hours, and that lake breeze makes it this far west. We've got 64 in Madison right now. Zooming on in, 64 Madison, still 67 out to the west in Cross Plains, 69 on the other side of the Wisconsin River in Sauk City. Beautiful evening to get out and about, walk the dog, take maybe a grill out this evening. Temperatures will still be in the 40s overnight today. Can't rule out a little bit of patchy fog, especially for areas south and east of Madison where they saw those clouds and a few showers hanging on throughout the good portion of the day today. And then a sneak peek first to let you know, Mother's Day, 73, sunny and mild, light winds and sunny skies. And following Mother's Day, how about high temperatures up near 80 next week?
And coming up in sports, casting for kids is back. Why it's always a no-brainer for the Badger hockey community to help out. That's next on News 3 Now. There used to be a narrative that the only reason a skilled player would want to come to Green Bay was to play with Aaron Rodgers. But one receiver proved that theory wrong. Savion Williams, the Packers' third-round pick, said not only was playing in Green Bay his dream, but his destiny too.
The whole week before our draft, everybody was always asking me, like, if it was one team you would get picked by, who would you want to get picked in? I told them, like, it would be Green Bay. That's where I want to go. And shoot, just, seeing the area code number just pop up and then, just grinning the whole time. So, just knowing I'm being Green Bay was just a dream, man.
The 7th annual Casting for Kids is less than 2 weeks away, and like it always is, Saturday, May 17th will be a jam-packed day. The fishing tournament is in the morning, then it's a happy hour dinner and a live auction later that night. And Marco Siki has 3 goals when it comes to this: raise awareness, put smiles on faces, and raise money for the American Family Children's Hospital and the UW Carbone Cancer Center, something the Badger hockey community is always willing to help out with.
I always had that in the back of my mind. If we ever had the opportunity to be able to give back, doing a fishing tournament, coupled with the sports side of it. Let's make that happen, and it's been really gratifying. I mean, the people make it happen. Joe Pavelski is incredible. If I don't call him and ask for something, he's mad at me. Jake McCabe the other day, are you all set for he's playing in the playoffs right now. He's going second round with Toronto, and he's like, hey, are you guys all set? Ty Emberson, same thing with Edmonton. These guys are awesome.
Well, the online auction is already up and running. For more info on that, just head to casting4kids.org. In 6 years, they've raised over $850,000. And the Brewers open up a 3-game series with the Astros tonight, and they'll be without Sal Frelick for at least one game. He left Sunday's game with left knee discomfort. Pat Murphy said today that the MRI revealed inflammation, but no IL at this point in time for Frelick, saying, quote, it should settle down in a day or two. So good news for Frelick.
Absolutely, Zach. Thank you. Coming up tonight at 10 after Watson, CBS Primetime. Continuing coverage of the deadly Cottage Grove crash now turned homicide. Maddie Heimsch digs deeper into that criminal complaint as investigators uncover a possible motive.
And now for a final check on the forecast. Beautiful.
Yeah, we traded in last week's Monday's alert date for something really nice this week. Look at this. Besides a couple cool days on Wednesday and Thursday, all warm temperatures.
Thanks for watching, folks. We'll see you at 10.